Okay, what we're looking at today is three different types of gear motors. Now the first Jupiter build we did, I used the little N20 dual shaft motor, and some of you were saying that it's very hard to find those in the parts of the world that you live in. So I said, well, I'd redesign it to fit the TT type motor, which is a little bit easier to find. The easiest of all the TT type motors to find is the 48:1, or as they like to say, 1:48 gear ratio. What that really means, if you've ever wondered, and that no reason it really should be stated the other way around, is 48:1, is the little battery motor turns 48 times for every one time the output shaft rotates. So it's the gear reduction of the unit. And since it's a drive unit, you would start with what your drive is, which is 48, and your output's 1. So you have the yellow, and the 48:1 is the easiest to find. The 120:1, or 1:120, is preferable for a walking speed, because the 48:1 is going to be a bit fast, but it's harder to find. You're kind of lucky when you get them, and most times when you order them, they send you this one and not the one you wanted. So then I also thought I'd try the blue ones. The blue ones are sold with metal gears. In fact, some of them have a plastic gear in the motor, and the rest are all metal gears, and some of them have all metal gears. But the case and the mounting and the hub size, shaft size are all the same. So once I redesigned the robot to work with this one, it'll work with this one. The nice thing about these blue ones is they seem to be about 90:1. So, more than half slower. It's in between the two. It's not as slow as the 120:1, but it's not as fast as the 48's right in there. It's actually a very good speed. Now these cost a little bit more, because these you can usually find for $1 or $1.50. These are closer to $4, but then again, these are closer to $10. So money-wise, this is a pretty good choice if you don't mind waiting. They seem to come from China. It took like 3 weeks to get here. So just so you can see some of the different walking speeds, we'll start with the N20 type motor. So you can see this is what we had there. And this was a 30 RPM at 3 volt N20 motor, but I'm running it at 5 volts. Remember, there's a little boost circuit in there to boost the 3 up to 5. Okay, so this would be the 90:1. You see, that's a very nice speed for a walking robot. And you got your same rotating ears and flashing light. And this is the 48:1. The flashing light's a bit more random. I don't know why. I didn't make the flashing lights. Probably noise from the 48:1 motor, although I threw a cap across there to help clean it up, but whatever. So you can see he really marches right along. I mean, it's not ridiculous, it's just quick paced. So if all you can find is the 48:1, then it'll work. And I kind of like the random sparking. Kind of reminds you more of like a flint, because you just never know when they were going to spark. So I won't do a separate build video on using the TT type motors, because the build's going to be exactly the same as the N20. It's just that you print different parts. One of the main parts you print is this base part, because it has to be able to hold the TT type motor. And because the shafts are bigger on here, the cam that slides on here has to be different. Because the cam that slides on there different, because the motor's so much wider, the leg linkage has to be different. So new leg linkage, new cam, new holder. I think that's the bulk of it. At any rate, I will put the files up on Thingiverse. The battery pack gets moved closer to the back, so you no longer need the pull string to get to them, because when you open the door, the batteries will be right there in your face. Well, here, we can look at one of these. See, it's got the newer door latch on it. You pull it, and then they're right there. So it's very handy to get to. So, put a link to the Thingiverse files for the TT type dual shaft gear motor. And recommend, I'll probably put a link in that same Thingiverse file back to the N21, because the build files will be there. Oh, I can maybe just move the build videos over too, I don't know. At any rate, just use the build videos for this one, but with the proper printed parts, and you should be able to make one of these. Alright, hope that helps.